While scrolling through manhwas and looking for something new, there's that one series you keep seeing and deep down you feel it's going to be good, but just never pick up. Well, for me, that was Trash of the Count's Family, also known as Lout of the Count's Family. I'd seen it a bunch of times, usually at the end of other manhwas I was reading, and it always had me wondering, is it actually any good? So I decided to give it a shot, but right before I started reading, I came across some mixed reviews. You know, the kind that makes you pause for a second. But I've learned not to trust ratings too much. Some manhwas with bad ratings turned out to be hidden gems for me, and others with high ratings ended up being pretty disappointing. It's all about preference, you know? So, like always, I gave it the classic 2 to 3 chapter test. If it doesn't grab me by then, I usually just drop it. But what about this one? Is Trash of the Count's Family worth your time? Well, let's find out. So our MC wakes up in the body of Cale Henituse, a side character from a fantasy novel he once read. Cale is this lazy, spoiled noble who's meant to get beaten up by the real protagonist of the novel, Choi Han. Seriously, why do all these reincarnated characters seem to have the worst luck? It's always as the villain who's destined to die, an insignificant side character like Cale, or the most useless characters. But I guess it's more fun watching them go from zero to hero. Not that it applies to Cale, cause he has no interest in being a hero or whatnots. All he wants is to live a peaceful life and avoid Choi Han as much as possible. But of course things don't go as planned, cause not only does he fail to avoid Choi Han, but he even ends up making him his bodyguard. Choi Han, like any good novel protagonist, can't stand those who bully the weak, which is one of the reasons he ends up beating the living daylight out of the original Cale in the novel. But this version of Cale just wants to survive and live peacefully. He might act like he doesn't care, but Cale actually has a soft spot, especially for kids, and he does his absolute best to protect those he cares about. And I'm not just talking about his family, from his butler Raon to the cat tribe orphans Hong and On, even to the dragon cub Raon. Cale does his best to protect them while protecting himself above all, which is obviously why the main characters of the novel keep getting closer to him, even if he doesn't want to. The characters of this manhwa are all extremely likable. The handsome Giga Cale, the assassin butler Raon, the cute and adorable cat tribe orphans Hong and On, the dependable protagonist Choi Han, the proud and loving dragon Raon, you name it. This manhwa does justice to its characters so that you love the good characters and absolutely despise the bad ones. When it comes to the actual story, of course, it's not perfect. Its pacing might feel a bit slow at times, but it's worth sticking with it to grasp the full story. Now don't worry, you just need to stick with it and you'll get the gist of it. Also, for those of you wondering, no, it does not have any harem or any romance at all. Most similar series always have a harem theme, or at least the MC falls in love, but this one doesn't have any of that. And it actually makes sense if you read the manhwa, as Cale just wants to survive and doesn't even have time to think about love or a bunch of women fighting over him, which wouldn't be a surprise seeing how hot he is. But I think that was a great choice on the author's end not to add any of that. All in all, it's a well-rounded story. Also, if you're looking for a manhwa with an overpowered MC, then I'm sorry, but this manhwa is not for you. But if you're looking for a manhwa you can genuinely relax and enjoy, give this one a go. When we talk about the art, I don't think there's any problem with it. In fact, I for one actually love the art style. It's a bit unique. It's vibrant and expressive, perfectly capturing the emotions and humor of the story. The character designs, especially for Cale, fit his Gigakad persona perfectly. There are some standout scenes that are not only funny and heartwarming but impactful as well, enhancing the overall reading experience. If I were to rate this manhwa, I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. In fact, I'm holding back from giving it a full score just to keep it realistic. Again, this is just my rating. Have you read this manhwa? If you have, let me know your rating down below. Also, let me know your favorite character from the manhwa. And if you haven't, will you be reading it? Subscribe for more manhwa and manga recommendations and reviews. And I'll see ya in the next one.